All right, y'all. We are here at the top of Powers Peak, but since we never released the video, and you guys are probably wondering if we survived, I'm going to fill you in on how that Whitney trail went almost a year ago. Little spoiler alert right here at the very beginning. Unfortunately, we did not make it to the top on that trail, but we want to take you through a little bit of kind of some of the decisions we made and how the trail went. We started by camping out. We actually showed up 2 nights early. We wanted to be at really the base camp of Mount Whitney for a day and kind of acclimate a little bit. And we had, we thought that would make us kind of be able to breathe a little bit better there. And for the most part, we enjoyed our time there. The day before we were going to hike the next day, we had originally planned on leaving probably 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up at maybe midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, which is typical with what we normally do with all of these hikes. But then later on in the afternoon, we decided, you know what, let's get a few hours of sleep and let's maybe do 10 o'clock the night before. That way we get a really good jump start. We compromised somewhere at about 11-ish. So we ended up starting the trail at 11 p.m. the day prior. At least starting to get back up to the portal so we can get going, so that we were basically on the trail at midnight and we were already ready to rock. So,
all right, good morning, y'all. Good evening, y'all. Mm-hmm. It is 11:40 p.m. on what is this, September 16th?
15th or so.
I think it's 16th. It's Monday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we are technically hiking Mount Whitney, or attempting it. And we're getting started early on this trail. We had originally planned for midnight, and we're going just slightly earlier. We were thinking of going even earlier, but this guy couldn't stop thinking, and I couldn't get to sleep. So I tried to sleep a little bit and then got up a little bit later. So we're starting this trail. It's about 11 miles up. Just 6,500 feet of elevation gain or something like that, going up to just over 14,500 feet, and over 10.5-ish miles. So we're going to kind of make just some slow, comfortable work of this and kind of see how far we get.
We did that, which may or may not have been clearly was a mistake. The night before, it was very hard to get sleep. We all had our families. The kids were wild. We could not sleep hardly at all. So we didn't sleep just to start off with. So we started off on a bad foot.
All right, officially good morning, y'all. We are 1 mile up the trail. It is 12:10 a.m. We are about 538 feet-ish of elevation gain, about 27 minutes, just under 27 minutes a mile for that. So actually we're moving at a pretty decent pace. Chip is saying that we really need to slow down and contain ourselves, but we feel okay. Honestly, conditions are great. A little bit, it's supposed to be cool, but with the gear we have on right now, it feels quite a bit warm. So we're gonna take some of our layers off and continue to hike up there. And the trail for the most part went as you would expect a trail to go. We were in the dark for the considerable portion of the trail, and that's part of the reason why we started so early. Is we wanted to try to get to the top right around or right after sunrise, and then kind of just make our way back and get back to our families and get home before it got dark. All right, y'all, we are 2 miles in. It is 12:40 a.m. We are just over 1,000 feet of elevation gain, about 57 minutes we've been going, which is actually a fairly considerable pace. This last mile felt a bit more steep than the first one. We slowed down just a little bit. Some of that was intentional. So 2 miles in, we're gonna take off maybe some more layers again and get something to eat and continue up the trail. All right, we'll see you there. And trails went okay. Honestly, we felt pretty good. We had to keep losing some layers and putting on some layers. It was a little bit cold when we started, so we were bundled up, but we took some of those layers off as we were moving through. All right, y'all, here we are, 3 miles up. It is 1:22 a.m. We are about an hour and 35 minutes in. Just over 1,600 feet of elevation gain, which puts us right about at 10,000 feet at this point. Honestly, we're feeling decent. It's a little bit chillier up here. We got some base layers on. Well, I do. Chip is basically just wearing a t-shirt. All right, y'all, we are 4 miles up, feeling pretty good. We are just about 2 hours and 11 minutes into our hike at just over 2,000 feet of elevation gain, which means we're about 10,500 feet total height, and feeling pretty good. Chip is finally feeling cold enough to possibly put another layer back on, and you know, we're gonna go through, we may or may not, we'll let you know, we may or may not have to cross a creek. The water's moving pretty good down on these other areas, and so we might have to take our shoes and socks off and get a little wet. We hope not. We hope there's enough rocks to cross, but we will find out. It'll be better to take our shoes off and not have wet feet the rest of the hike. So, all right, we'll see you up there. Miles 6 and 7, as we were going up to trail camp, that's when you're getting to about 12,000 feet of elevation. Those were the hardest miles as we were going up. We were huffing and puffing. All right, y'all, we have made it 6 miles up, just over 3,100 feet of elevation gain. We're at about 3 hours and 35 minutes of climbing. It is 3:15 in the morning, fairly cold, and that was a really tough mile. You know, we still got just a little bit of ways to get up to trail crest, and you know, just this last little bit, but that was a bit tough. So doing mile 6, just know so far it's been the hardest mile, but we're still making good time. And then we had finally made it to trail camp.
Yeah, and when we made it to trail camp, our original plan was to spend some time at trail camp. There's a nice lake there. You can fill up your waters, because we wanted to travel relatively light. So we wanted to fill up our waters. What we didn't realize at that time, when we started the night before, a storm had kind of passed through. We had thought it was probably done. It wasn't raining at the campsite, but it was, you could tell on the mountains it was raining a little bit. But when we're at trail camp, not only is it extremely windy, our water is freezing in our packs because it's 20-ish, maybe 15 degrees, windy. Other people that were camped at trail camp, they were able to stay in their tents and stay out of the wind. But we wanted to stay at trail camp, but we realized that it was way too cold. If we sat down for 30 seconds, we were freezing and shivering, which isn't recommended. You want to acclimate, right? You want to acclimate. And so when we would sit down, not only are we freezing cold, we wanted to warm ourselves up, we're falling asleep. Very, very common for altitude sickness stuff. So we were drowsy, falling asleep. Night before was horrible. The weather was starting to get really, really bad.
All right, y'all. We are 7 miles up. We are at trail camp, about 3,700 feet of elevation gain. So we're somewhere around, I don't know, 12,000 feet, maybe just over, something like that. We are, I didn't even check to see how long we were hiking. 4 hours and about 4 hours, actually. About 4 hours of hiking. We've got a little bit of a ways to go, obviously. Looks like I'm wearing like a hairnet bonnet, doesn't it?
A little bit.
That's funny. Especially in the camera. We're gonna rest there for a little bit. That mile 6 was tough, but maybe because mile 6 was so tough, mile 7 felt really tough. We were trudging along, and that's not even supposed to be the hard part necessarily. So if you're doing Mount Whitney, and even if you hike to trail camp, that's a pretty good hike. to get all the way up here. So good job. All right, we'll hopefully see you out there. We're gonna make some judgment calls. It's a little windy and cold, and we're sleepy. So we'll figure some things out. So after, the plan of being there for about an hour at trail camp's about 4 miles from the top, right before the notorious switchback portion. We'd planned to stay there for about an hour and rest and recuperate. We decided we either have to choose between getting some rest or staying a bit warmer. And so we decided to keep chugging along. We were feeling okay. We were tired, but feeling okay. And so we decided we spent about 5 minutes, got some more layers on, and started heading up the switchbacks. Then we got up about another mile, and we had to make some judgment calls. All right, y'all, 8 miles up, just over 5 hours in, 4,200 feet of elevation gain, just after 5 a.m. And at this point, we're having a really hard time. So we're gonna take a little rest to kind of figure some things out. It's a little bit windy up here, and we're just we're in the thick of the switchbacks, and it's cold, and
our water's freezing
and
in
our
straws.
Yeah, that's kind of for me at least, pretty big decision maker. Chip said our water is freezing in our straws, and if we can't obviously drink water, that would be a fool's mission going up. The other side of it, other thing is we're also like really sleepy, and that's not a good sign either. So
nope.
We'll probably have a little powwow here in a second and rest up and figure it out. All right, catch us some point on the trail.
Christian was getting really
loopy,
disoriented. I was feeling it as well. It was so cold. I tried to take my shoes off to kind of, I think I was going to add another layer of socks. I could not physically get my fingers on my laces. My hands were completely frozen, even with our gloves. We knew we're on the switchbacks. We know which way the wind is blowing. It's blowing towards the ridge on the other side. So we know, it's really windy here. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we get up to Trail Crest, which is going to be the top.
We kept moving up and kind of just taking our time a little bit. And most of it, at least for me, it was some pride of I want to get to the top, but we were starting to just not feel too good. I was really not feeling as well as maybe I could feel. And about a half mile later, I started having a fairly significant headache develop, and we had to make a judgment call. All right, y'all, regrettably and probably wisely, we're deciding to turn back. It's still pretty dark out here, still pretty cold, and fairly windy, which means up at the crest it's going to be really windy, and I've started to get a little bit of a kind of a headache, and that seems to get a bit worse in breathing. So due to Chip's suggestion, I'll swallow a little bit of pride. We're gonna make the way back at this point. So we decided that we liked our families more than we liked going to the peak, so we wanted to come back to our families, and that was just maybe the wise choice. There's a recent quote I read, and where this climber in there says, the best piece of safety equipment you can bring is the piece of equipment between your ears. And so you have to make choices, you have to use discernment. And another quote that came up was, he says that the peak is optional, but getting back to base camp is not. Yeah. And so we made the decision, and we began our hike back down.
We had a little bit of breakfast. As soon as we got to a lower elevation, obviously you're gonna know altitude sickness symptoms are gonna go way down. I did check Christian's pulse ox at the time. Could have been a combination of the cold and everything, but it was reading in the high 70s,
low
which
70s.
Low 70s,
Low 70s, yeah.
Low 70s, which obviously is not great at all.
So not ideal.
It's not ideal. So it made sense with the symptoms and everything. It was smart just to turn around. The combination of the weather. I mean, it was snowing, it was hailing as we were up there, and we're like, this is
it's cold.
Cold. It's not smart. Let's just summit another day. It's not that big of a deal. We'll get another opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it's that time again. You know I live for the descent, and actually on this one, I might live because of the descent. We both might live because of the descent. Weather's really, really bad, but anyway, still love walking down the hill. My knee's hurting a little bit though. Oh, we got like a glow to us right now.
See that?
Must be a smudge.
Angel behind us.
Oh!
We applied for the lottery permits this year, didn't end up getting them. So we'll try again next year and see if that can happen. The other good thing, and kind of not good thing, is on the way down, about 3 miles back from the end of the trail, Chip's knee really just, for the most part, gave out.
Yeah.
And so he was hobbling pretty good. And so I can't imagine if we would have done the last 4 miles up and 4 more miles back down, what that would have done on his knee. And so, it was wise all the way around. And then, we still got back to our families at about 9-ish.
Yeah.
And loaded up our cars and got home about early afternoon. And we were good with that.